Hello everyone. Today I will talk about KSAT Bset questions. Number 1. The above sentence says, without clear ethical guidelines, the rapid development of artificial intelligence could result in unintended harm to individuals or society. In the passage, the first part mainly discusses the positive impacts of artificial intelligence. For example, it mentions how AI can detect disease early in healthcare and improve safety in transportation. However, after sentence number 4, the perspective shifts with the word however, introducing concerns about the artificial implications of AI. The word however means that the writer will start talking about the opposite perspective, so this sentence fit best after sentence number 4.
Hello everyone. Today I will analyze a sentence insertion problem from this passage. I will start by clarifying a few key terms, then briefly analyze the passage, and finally explain the logic behind the correct answer. First, let's cover some vocabulary. An exoplanet is a planet outside our solar system. To accumulate means to gather or build up over time. To alter means to change. To speculate means to form a theory without firm evidence. And to sustain means to support or maintain, especially for life. Now let's look at the passage itself. It describes unusual volcanic activity on distant exoplanets. Unlike on Earth, these eruptions happen through ocean of ice. The main idea is that this unique activity is crucial for the exoplanet's environment, specifically for maintaining its atmospheric balance. The passage supports this by first describing the process, how pressure spurts through the ice, and then explaining its effects, which include maintaining that balance and possibly supporting life. This analysis leads us directly to the solution. The correct answer is number 4. Here is a clear, logical path to that answer. The sentence we need to insert starts with without such periodic eruptions. This phrase immediately tells us two things. It refers to eruptions that were just mentioned, and it's about to describe a negative consequence. That consequence is that carbon dioxide would dangerously accumulate. If we look at the sentence right before number 4, it says this process plays a vital role in maintaining atmospheric balance. This is a perfect connection. The passage makes a positive claim, the process maintains balance. These inserted sentences immediately support this by explaining the negative alternative. Without this process, the atmosphere would not be balanced. Placing it anywhere else, like after number 4, would interrupt the new topic of providing energy for life. So my key tip for this type of problem is to always find the clue word in the given sentence. Words like such, this or they are most important clues. They create a logical link that must connect directly to the sentence that comes before them. Thank you.
Next, question number 3. First, let's look at one key expression. Technological change can produce both benefits and unforeseen consequences. Here, unforeseen means unexpected. So this sentence reminds us that new technologies don't always lead to pure progress. They can also bring problems that we didn't predict. This passage mainly explains how transportation shows the double-sided nature of innovation. In the early industrial age, the invention of the steam engine transformed travel and trade by connecting distant cities. However, the same steam engines that drove economic growth also caused pollution and environmental damage. Later, the automobile gave people personal freedom and convenience, but it also created traffic, noise, and social isolation in big cities. Finally, as electric and self-driving cars appear today, the passage asks whether these new innovations will truly improve our lives or just replace all the problems with new ones. The main idea is that technological progress is not always the same as human progress. Each innovation brings both positive and negative effects. The passage follows a clear logical structure, is chronological, and cause and effect moving from the passage to the present to show this balance between benefit and cost. From this passage, we can learn an important lesson. When new technology appears, we should think critically not only about how it makes our lives easier, but also about the risks it might bring. In the end, true innovation should focus on making life better for people, not just making things newer or faster.
Okay, good. Okay.
The question asks for the most fitting meaning of the underlined phrase, the body's greatest illusionist, based on the provided text concerning the placebo effect. To find the correct answer, we must first analyze the context in which this phrase is used. The passage introduces the placebo effect, noting that a patient frequently experiences genuine, miserable psychological relief even when administered a medically inert substance like a sugar pill. This outcome is not simple deception. The brain actively releases potent endogenous chemicals such as opioids that demonstrably altered objective physical symptoms. The text specifies that the inert substance has no direct chemical effect. Instead, the therapeutic changes are triggered by psychological factors, the mere ritual of care, the doctor's confident demeanor, and the hope generated. The passage concludes by summarizing this powerful dynamic. The mind's certainty translates belief into physical, biological reality, and this is what is called the profound mystery of the body's greatest illusionist. Therefore, the illusion is the body producing real physical healing as if a powerful drug had been administered, when in fact the actual trigger was belief and expectation. We now evaluate the options based on this key conclusion. Option 1 focuses on medical techniques and deception, which is too narrow and misrepresents the internal mechanism. Option 2, a powerful self-healing system without external stimulation is close but lacks the crucial element of expectation and belief, which is emphasized as the trigger. Option 4 incorrectly suggests the chemicals cause unexpected side effects. Option 5 asserts that psychological and physical symptoms operate completely separately, which directly contradicts the text's central thesis of the mind certainty translating into physical reality. Option 3, the ability to generate genuine healing effects in the body based purely on belief or expectation, is the only choice that precisely captures the dynamic described in the concluding sentence, where the mind's certainty drives a physical biological outcome. Therefore, the correct answer is option 3.
All right, I will conclude this presentation with number 5 and 6. And first of all, thank you all for listening right here till now. If you are watching this right now, you truly are a student of Mr. Shin Hyun Pil, because no one reaches this far. No one will watch the video this far. Would they? All right. That was that. And okay. I expect nobody to watch this video halfway through 10 minutes or straight or something, sitting in front of a computer, watching this video instead of studying themselves. Okay. That was that, and I will begin with the question 5, which is the second member of what is called the "here is a fundamental quality of something" questions. And this is about the human memory. When we recall an event, we tend to believe we are simply retrieving a perfect recording, like playing back a videotape. So, as if here, where we see a word "we" right here, this "we" would refer to the human being in the world, every one of them. So this is the belief of the people of the past that, did not have the knowledge of what we are going to have right now. So this belief right now, this one suggesting right here, this sentence is simply wrong. And that is why this is a word "however," suggesting that the paragraph or the sentence right before is wrong. Alright, so let us continue reading, having in mind that this first sentence is the statement is wrong. And in fact, we do not need to read every single one of these letters. Alright, no explanations, just let's do this. Cognitive research consistently reveals that memory is not a static repository, but a dynamic, reconstructive process. This are some kind of a non-need explanations that we do not need to consider while playing this or doing this challenge. Okay, let's go to the last challenge and skip all the middle parts. It is this powerful, inevitable tendency to shape the past to fit the present that makes human recollection fundamentally the mind's talented storyteller. All right, so it will refer to as the tendency, which is inevitable and powerful, to shape the past. If there is a past, the mind itself is going to alter it as so that it matches the shape. Okay. All right. The past to fit the present, and that is what is called the storytelling. They are altering the reality to tell us about a story. All right. The mind's talented storyteller, therefore, is a correct statement. And let us try and see what is going on at the bottom. Alright, there have been some accidents and we will continue this. Let's see the... oh my god, let's see this. Right here. We see the ability of the brain to perfectly store and retrieve events exactly as they happen. This is explaining about the video camera thingy that we saw above, which is proven to be a not true thing. So this is obviously not it. And the influence of the vivid emotional experiences on strengthening the durability of factual memory. Vivid emotional experiences. Again, this mind is not a camera. This cannot store minds or emotional experiences as if they were took in the first place. Okay. All right, the physiological function that uses imagination to predict future scenarios based on past data. Now, this is the correct answer. Now, this is not the correct answer because there was nothing about the past. There was nothing about predicting the future with the past memories or something like that. This is all about the memory sequence, not about predicting. Okay. All right, and number 4 is going to be the correct answer. And let's see the reason why: the cognitive process that actively reshapes and fills in the gaps between the past events to create a coherent narrative. All right, when we see here the cognitive process, this is the human mind itself. They are going to reshape and fill those gaps that we're missing. As we saw here, to shape the past to fit the present, that means that we are going to alter the past memories that had happened before so that we can like fill in the blanks better, and therefore we are filling the gaps of the past events to create a coherent narrative, and makes human recollection fundamentally the mind's talented storyteller. So fill in the gaps between the the blanks and the past memories, therefore making it the coherent narrative, the fill in the blankers or the storytellers. Therefore this number 4 is going to be the correct answer after all. Number 5, the mechanism by which the hippocampus integrates short-term memories into long-term storage units. There was nothing about the short-term experiences and the long-term experience. This just does not have to be it. This does not fit the overall flow of this. Again, bro, like, oh my god, bro, like, oh. Yeah, there we go. We are going to handle the question number 6.
Okay, hold on. So sorry for interruption, but before we move on to question number 6,
Yes.
when you solved the question number 5, you mentioned that this passage number 5, we don't even read the full sentence
Yes.
in order to solve this question. So I wonder, in your actual situation when you solve the question,
Yes.
do you really sometimes skip many parts and still get the correct answer, or since this passage is relatively easy one,
Yes.
you can do this without reading the entire passage? I wonder which case is
Yes.
this?
I want to say that both cases that you just suggested are actually correct, because not only this question is kind of easier, or like relatively compared to the actual what do you call that, the pre-KST preparation tests that we're having on the March, June, and so on. This is relatively easier. So the strategy that I usually use is like this, like reading only top part of it and the last bit of it, so that I can save as much time as possible. And in real KST preparation tests, I actually will read the top part and the bottom part for number 1, and if that does not solve the question, I will continue reading down what's in the middle.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, right. So I understand why
Yes.
you are trying to apply your skipping strategies.
That's right.
But I just want to point out that skipping and skipping and not reading the full passage
All right.
could be quite risky and dangerous.
That's true.
So I just want to make sure that when you practice, I suggest you still read the full sentence and come up with your
That's correct. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Thank you. Go
Okay.
on, please.
All right. As if this question was going to be what's called a Korean 역접. This, because by the however, this means the question is going to trying to object to the what's suggested in the first place.
Good.
However, this question 6 is actually the opposite of it, because this just follows the every single ideas of it. It's just so flawless. All right, we will see from the beginning, since this is a flawless one, we are actually going to read this all along one by one.
Okay.
All right. Oh my god, bro. All right. Here's the fundamental quality of the universe, all isolated. The systems naturally progress toward a state of increasing disorder and homogeneity. So the universe itself and the systems inside of it are going to the direction of the disorders and homogeneity. Well, the homogeneity will mean something like they correspond to each other, or something like the same to each other. That's from the Greek, I guess. And then the universal drive is formalized. All right, the formalized actually supports the idea comes before, and this kind of word is what you can use to, trying to think whether this kind of structures or the phrases actually go along with the ideas suggested in the first, or they they oppose with the ideas suggested right above, and you may use those words to utilize yourself at full expenses. The second law of thermodynamics by Newton, which dictates that entropy, you don't need to read inside what's called some underbars, some dashes. You don't need to read those, and the entropy must always increase over time. What you have to know is that while you do not read what's inside of it, you gotta know what entropy is, and the strategy is to find what is the most important word is. And right here, these words are not important at all, and the most important word in this bracket, I would say, is going to be the randomness. So entropy equals to the randomness. Okay, I guess that's what's going to be the intentions of the the people who wrote this thing or something like that. Okay, consider a drop of ink in a glass of water. I will draw something like that. All right, consider there is a water, and let's say there is a drop of ink inside of it. As the time goes, this will flow inside of the water and eventually turn all the glass into something called a bland state of ink and water mixture. As you see right here, they will all become the same at the last moment, as opposed to the whereas here in the first place they had ink separated and the water all separated along the ink, so they were not mixed. But after all, they are going to be mixed, and that's the the key of it. And then it never spontaneously recollects into a drop. It only sprays. Okay, so that was just what I explained right now. If you drop ink, the ink will stay as the mixture of water ink, not just reverting back into the ink itself. There is not going to be that happening. And the cup of hot coffee always cools to room temperature. It never spontaneously heats up. As if again, we have a hot coffee right here, and the room is so cold around here. All right, and then the room is cold. What's going to happen is that this coffee itself will cool down while making the outside area kind of in the inner state of the middle, something like that. How did like oh my god, do I have to? I just want it. Alright, that was it. There we go from the bottom of it. Alright. Energy that is useful becomes less useful, right, as it is transferred or transformed. Useful to not useful. Alright. So organized equals to useful, and disorganized equals to less useful. Organized and disorganized, I will say. So as is transferred, and this is this fundamental, irreversible process that perverts the reversal of all the processes and gives time as direction. All right, you can only go in a straight one way, one direction. There is no going back of becoming the organized and in the stable state once again. There is no such a thing like that, and it will all reverse into something kind of like that. Okay, it constantly pushes the cosmos, the universe itself. Is from the Greek cosmos, cosmos, whatever. Okay, maximum uniformity and minimal available energy. All right, the universe, relentless spender. This is a one way going one way. So if there's a hole, there's gold, they say, and there's only a one way a molecule can ever go. Let's try to check the answer first. The answer is number 2, because the inevitable process, the inevitable word right here is equal to the relentless right here, so they are going to be corresponding and help you to search the answer faster. Okay, and then transform organized energy into unusable dispersed heat over time. Organized into, dispersed. You got the organized into dispersed or disorganized, so they are not going to be gathered after all. And that was quite the end of it. The others, I do not quite sure that you just have to listen to this all the time. I am sure that you are able to cover the 1, 3, 4, and 5 by yourselves if you're already watching this kind of videos in your free times. Right. And that was it, I guess, and thank you all for watching this video once again, and don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Shin, and thank you all.
Good, thank you, excellent.